Um, I would say that looks good, but our defense is terrible right now. And I feel like we got to be better as a team and playing defense because it was just one-on-one basketball tonight, and it didn't look good for us. It looked great for them, but not good for us. So I feel like we got to be more, not be more, but play more team ball, like team defense, and we'll be fine. Like offense will come, so it's our defense.
What do you feel like got you into that groove of defense where it was more one-on-one instead of what you want to normally do?
Say it again.
What do you feel like got you into that wrong groove of defense where you weren't playing the way you want to on that end of the floor?
I mean, I honestly can't say because it's all individual when it comes to one-on-one defense. So I don't know what happened. I mean, obviously we had a scheme against Ryan, but like the other ones, I'm not sure. But I just feel like we got to be more locked in and focused to what the coach says with the defensive scheme. So.
Dustin, go ahead.
Like you mentioned game plan against Howard. It seemed like, especially after Tiffany came in, and when you came back in, it seemed like you guys really sort of face guarded her, just tried to just take anything away from her. How does that, when you're just putting that much emphasis on it, basically you're not maybe, doing as much help side, you're just sort of focused on a scorer like that. How does that just change the way the dynamic works, and how do you think?
I mean, it changes a lot, especially for Atlanta because they got to focus on like getting other players involved instead of just one person. Because like the game before, the rookie had 30, and we tried to limit it this time for her touches, and it worked. But the other people got involved, so they stepped up as a team, and we should have stepped up defensively as a team and stopped them, but we didn't.
Zion, got anything?
Emily got to start today. She grabbed 10 boards. What was it like to see her grabbing all those rebounds out there in her first start?
I mean, she's capable of doing it because she's long and she's aggressive. She's physical. She works hard. So I wasn't worried about her at all. The team rebounds don't surprise me at all. Get more.
Anybody else got anything? Go ahead.
I mean,
Dustin.
obviously offensively, I think you guys were 30 from maybe from the floor. Threes aren't necessarily going down. I mean,
Yeah.
did you like what you guys were getting? Was just a question of not knocking it down, or like how
Yeah, we had some open looks we should have knocked down, but some of them weren't, but most of them were. So we just got to get in the gym and shoot. I mean, it's shots we take all the time, so we just got to be better. We're pros. We got to be better.
How did it feel to kind of get that first start and be called upon in a way that allowed you to get 10 rebounds in your first professional start?
I mean, I'm tall. I'm a big four. I feel like rebounding is something I'm supposed to do. So when I get out on the floor, I try to be as aggressive as possible.
You're one of the more intense players on this team. Do you feel like that kind of seeps into your teammates when you're on the floor, that they all kind of bring it in a different way when you're out there? And after you were drafted, you said you wanted to have another Emily Engstler as your teammate, so I wasn't sure if that has translated so far.
I mean, I hope so. I hope I can be this positive influence and outcome when I'm on the court. I'm just doing the best that I can when I get the chance to.
Dustin?
with Victoria obviously mentioned the defensive breakdowns. Basically, where did you see from there when you talk about it just being too one-on-one in terms of defense and maybe not winning enough of those matchups, and just where did you see sort of breakdown as far as stuff?
I think there's a lot of defensive things we can work on, but I'll be honest with you. I also think the Atlanta team did a really good job of just having a really high percentage shot. It doesn't take away the things we have to work on, but they shot the ball really well today, and sometimes that happens. I also think that we're better shooters than what we gave out, and again, sometimes that's how it goes. I think we're going to come into the next game, and we're going to take this loss and, really turn it around into a positive factor, learn from everything, and come out ready to play our next game.
How much does, as she kind of mentioned, I mean, when a player like Howard has that kind of gravity, basically you almost have to assign someone just to try to take her out. How does that change the way that you guys, the sort of team concept work that outside of that?
Yeah, I think in the WNBA it is tough because you have a league where every single person on the court can score. And I say this very often, it's not college where sometimes you can try to take out one player and you can send 3 girls and not worry about a couple of the other players on the floor. You can't do that in this league. So, you have to find other ways to do that. Just repetition and practice and locking in strategically. But I think we're going to be okay.
Zion, anything for him?
What was your reaction just knowing that you were going to get your first career start going into the night?
I mean, yeah, it was cool. I really am just trying to do the best that I can with this team, and whatever they need from me, I'm gonna do that for them. With trying to keep my head held high, no matter whether we lose or not. But when I come off the bench, it's gonna be the same energy.
And you were drafted because defense was your top skill coming into the draft. So when you guys have a night like this, is it something that you kind of try to take personally, see what you guys can improve on?
Yeah, it is upsetting, when you lose by a lot of points. But I mean, I just really do think there's more to look at than just us saying we played a really bad defensive night. When our shots fall, I think that's a very different game. But yeah, of course you take stuff like that personally. You just got to go back and watch film and just prepare for the next game and let it go.
To be honest, I saw a lack of energy and effort. And we were not very good in most phases of the defense. And we let our struggles on offense affect our defense, too, which is uncharacteristic. And, just not very good all the way around.
You had a game where you win the rebound battle, fewer turnovers, more assists, but you still are down so much because of your defense. How do you kind of continue, or how do you think about like going at the same process you have or making changes throughout the game when it looks like process-wise you're playing the way you want, but the score isn't showing?
No, we didn't play the way we wanted. Our turnovers are down, yeah. I mean, that's one decent statistic. But how we played, I'm not happy with at all. The effort just wasn't there, and I told our players as much. I mean, we got to bring more energy, more effort, and more cohesiveness as a team. Yeah, I think we rolled over, to be honest. And,
Dustin, sorry.
we can't let whatever frustrations, it's a young team, but we can't let frustration affect how we're playing. You still got to play hard. You still got to play together. You got to fight through things. You got to be resilient. You got to keep fighting. And we didn't show that spirit today. I'm not really sure why, but it's not acceptable, and it's not fever basketball, and that's the first time I've really seen this team do that. We've talked about it. Unacceptable.
Just to keep going off of that, where was the point where you kind of saw them take a punch that they didn't get back up from, basically?
I saw it early in the first half.
Was there any particular player in
No,
stretch that
no.
you were like, well, they just don't have it? Just wasn't there at the beginning, you felt like?
Well, pretty early on, I'll say that.
But obviously, one of the game plans was to try to limit Howard's touches, and it seemed like, especially after you brought Mitchell in, you guys were pretty devoted to face guarding her. What sort of changes around that to make that work defensively, to try that defensively, and do you feel like that kind of led to some breakdown?
No, I don't really think that really had much to do with our problems. Our problems were us not playing hard enough, us not putting forth the emotional, physical, mental effort to get the job done. And for the first time, I've seen this team kind of roll over and, kind of fall into a pity party about what wasn't going our way, and it just magnified and snowballed, and we just had a hard time getting out of it. We had a few flourishes, and that was it. And that's not good enough, period.
Zion, anything?
This was the second game in a row where Atlanta's been able to get to the foul line quite a bit. Why do you think they've been able to draw those fouls and get to the line against you guys?
Well, I mean, they're physical. I mean, they had 26 free throws. We had 19. It's not that big of a disparity. It was a big disparity the other day. Today it wasn't as bad. But, I mean, they had a complete game. They shot well from the field. They shot well from the three-point line. Shot well from the foul line. If I'm them, I'm pretty happy with how we played. And they played really hard the whole time. We did not.
Kelsey finished the game with 5 points and breaks a streak of 28 straight games she had in double figures. Just how impressive do you think that run that she was on is, just to score 10 or more in 28 straight games?
Well, you heard my comments the other day. She's one of the best guards in the league, and today was a struggle for everyone, including her. So, she's been impressive, and, this is not going to change the fact that Kelsey's a really outstanding guard and is going to have a lot of good games. You're allowed to have an off night here and there. Happens to the best of them.
What did you see them do? It seemed like they brought a couple bodies in front of her every kind of lane that she tried to get.
Yeah, they were loading up towards Kelsey, and, just she sees that a lot. That's nothing new. But we just struggled. 6 for 30 from the three-point line. And we didn't establish, an inside game like we need to. We're kind of young and kind of new, our personnel. And, we've just got to improve that. That's a work in progress, so to speak. But, shooting 6 for 30 from the three-point line, we're better than that. And I think it just kind of goes with the feeling of the whole game to me was, we fell into, struggling with the fact that we were not playing well. And we dwelled on that as opposed to just go do something other facet of the game well. Keep playing hard, keep working. We just didn't. And so that's not the way to get yourself out of a rut,
Michelle Hopel, anything from Marianne?
Yeah, Coach, I know you talked about Melissa before the game. I'm wondering, just in general, how big an impact her absence had and just how well she's playing so far.
Well, two separate questions. Let me talk about how well she's playing so far. She's playing pretty well. The other night in New York was an outstanding game for her. One of several really outstanding games for her. So at this point in her career, she's done well. We are not a one-player team, and although we missed her, particularly her scoring in the front line and her rebounding, our problem today was not about missing Nalissa. It was about the rest of our team not showing up aggressive enough and ready to fight from start to finish with everything they had. That's not how we played. And we just learned a very hard lesson that you get waxed by anybody in this league if that's the way you show up. So the only bright spot is you learn that lesson early. Don't ever go back there again. That's my attitude. No question we missed her tonight, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome.
Anybody else anything for Coach?
Just want to ask real quick, you mentioned the three-point shooting. I mean, did you get a lot of the shots you wanted? Do you just feel like it was a case of missing stuff that you should make?
A lot of them were stuff we wanted. 30's a little on the high side. I've probably been happy somewhere in the maybe, especially if you got it going mid-20s, I just think this was a hard game, and we wanted it not to be so hard, and we started doing uncharacteristic things. And sometimes that's inexperience, that's youth, that's, this is difficult. It's not for everybody. It's never going to get easy. I'm looking at the schedule going, hey, guess what? You think Connecticut's going to be any easier? Nope. So it's not supposed to be easy. So when it's hard, okay, got to figure stuff out and keep believing and keep plugging away and finding ways to make stuff happen positively for your team. I think we got overly frustrated and succumbed to the frustration. Let's put it that way.